What's up, guys? I'm Alex.
I'm Jason. We're the Table Monkeys, and this is Table Talks, episode 22. So this is our most recent practice at the Table Monkeys HQ.
Probably the last one of the year.
I think it will be the last one of the year. Yeah, I don't think anybody's practicing on Christmas Eve.
It's been a good year of pulling.
Yeah, it's been a great year of pulling.
Regardless of any roadblocks that the government has tried to put in our way.
No COVID got in our way. Well, I mean, it did fuck things up, but for the most part, we didn't miss any table time.
No.
And and you know what? Because that's what freedom is.
Yeah, and Toronto arm wrestling has flourished because of it. Maybe not as much as it possibly could
have,
but it has definitely grown.
Yep.
And
regardless, it's grown regardless. Yeah. That's definitely true.
And this is one of the guys that has
one of the new guys who because he doesn't have access to the gyms anymore. There's no powerlifting competitions, all that kind of stuff.
You've been drawn to arm wrestling.
Yeah, the arm wrestling practices are still happening. All right, let's go try that.
Yeah.
And Paul Babbitts is a beast.
He is a beast.
This guy's a beast. I can't wait for the first time Devin gets to grip up with this kid.
He literally just started a couple months ago.
Yeah,
20 years old.
20 years old.
Yeah.
It's crazy. His hand is stupid, and he's crazy strong. So, it's just awesome to see all the talent and watch the sport grow. And we did a bunch of practice matches at this practice.
Yeah, we did.
Which we're going to release all those subsequently after this table talk.
But it's so important to have practice matches in your regular table time with your team.
Yeah, we maybe I think for a long time we were of the opposite
we were kind of like
opinion
maybe a little fearful of hurting ourselves.
Yeah.
Going too hard all the time in practice.
Yeah, exactly. Or we didn't 100% realize the benefit of it.
Yeah.
We thought it was more risk than reward, so we would slow pull a lot, right?
Yeah.
Where you just kind of ease into your position and ease into pressure, and then it builds up, and then eventually you're pulling really, really hard, and you get into these kind of long battles. And the point is that that never happens in a tournament.
No.
You never get to okay, let's slowly get into a hook and then pull hard. It's the ready go is a totally different thing. And we really learned this from pulling out in London, right?
Yep.
Another Crazy George training technique, I guess. And not necessarily just his, but it's his team. So
I'm sure this is how all the guys in Eastern Europe train.
I'm sure
they
do similar ideas. But the way that they do it in London, the way that we're trying to do it now when we can, is you get some even matches set up between people. And the first 20 minutes to half hour of practice is just ready goes.
Yeah.
And just full on balls to the wall,
simulating what it's going to be like in a tournament or a super match.
Yeah.
We did super matches.
And we did WAL setup,
yeah.
right? So like close your thumbs, close your hands, ref grip, and then it was pretty much all WAF kind of rules after that, as far as like fouls and the pads and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So but that's also just to keep it moving, because we only had the one table. So but you can adjust it to whatever. If you have a tournament coming up with certain rules, then ref according to those rules. It's like the same way Travis talks about adjusting his dry run setups based on like what league he's going to be pulling in.
Yep.
It'd be the same way as that. The only way translates right to powerlifting. You want to practice what you're going to do at the meet. The closer you get to a meet in powerlifting, you start like pulling. You're actually doing your training in your singlet. You're actually like getting a buddy, instead of giving you a spot, they're giving you commands like squat, rack, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then you start practicing your singles.
Exactly.
Yeah, you start doing SBD all in one day.
Yeah. There's a bunch of different ways to make it more specific to what it's going to be like on the day. And for arm wrestling on the day, it's going to be a ready go.
Yeah.
So what better way,
There is no better way. And I think we're going to start doing this almost every practice.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a super intense like grudge match or anything, but just two guys that are close enough that they can have a good match, and then just under the with a ref, with a real setup, with having like you said, you started to get a little nervous. You started to like.
Yeah, I started actually feeling the exact same butterfly anxiety sensation build up in my body that I felt at every previous tournament and match I'd had, but it was a little bit subdued because obviously the stakes weren't as high.
Yeah.
So I think it's really good to get that feeling and get used to it in practice, so when I go to a tournament, it won't be
it might feel
as intense,
more subdued. You know what I mean?
It might feel just like that.
Yeah,
which obviously that happens naturally over time, but
I bet you at a point, like doing it in practice, maybe it's whatever timeline, 6 months, and then in practice you don't feel that anymore. But when you go to a tournament, it feels like it did in practice the first few weeks of practice, where it's like, it's still there, but it's way subdued. You're still totally in control of what it is you want to do, what you're thinking about doing, all that kind of stuff, right?
During the match, that in between rounds, I could not think. I couldn't think about what had happened during the match and how I need to adjust, and it was obviously very detrimental. I ended up losing that match. But in my match with Paul, because all those feelings were subdued a little, in between rounds, I could actually think about what I need to do and how to adjust.
What you were feeling in the previous round.
Yeah, exactly. So I was actually able to be a smart arm wrestler.
Yeah.
And that's obviously a great skill to practice.
Yeah, well, it's like anything, like we've made this point a long time ago, and I think about it all the time, of how Louis Simmons and Westside and the idea of the max effort work is to learn how to strain, like under control, like to be cognitive, like to be able to think while you're at a full strain. Like
that is it.
Like, so the more that you can strain while still being able to think. So like if you're at the bottom of the squat and you're coming up and it's an absolute max effort, you're pushing as hard as you can, but you can feel that your hips are kicking back a bit, and you have enough presence of mind to think to yourself, hips through. That's going to make a huge difference. And that's basically what we're trying to do in arm wrestling, is go 110%, but be able to feel the most minor differences in each other's hands and pressures instinctually, right?
Yeah.
And so that's, again, why you can't practice that any other way. Like, you can't practice max effort work any other way than doing max effort. You know, now you want to nerd out about the whole West Side thing, but the idea of changing up what kind of max effort you do, so that you're always pushing yourself to the limit but never like beating yourself down. I think that, again, that becomes a little difficult in arm wrestling, because especially when you pull a certain way, like you do the same move every single time, you know, so you're just like, it becomes difficult not to overtrain that certain pattern at some point, you know. But it's still important to do it. If you just avoid it, then when it comes time to, like, for a real ready go, you're not ready for that type of effort, you know?
Yeah, and you don't have that motor pattern ingrained deeply enough.
Yeah. So, like, I think when you slow pull too much, what you're not ready for in the competition, the setup and the ready go, and, like, not getting, like, a nice comfy grip that you can just pull with, that setup happens so fast that you feel so caught off guard on the go. You know, that a lot of guys, I think, that slow pull, or at least for me in the first couple, like, real ready go situations, never felt like I got a chance to even really pull, because I was so caught off guard with the setup. I had no idea what I was feeling for or what I was trying to get.
And then you were instantly disengaged from all your power.
And then just hanging on for dear life, going like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's kind of like being the strongest puller of your club, and you're always holding the weaker guys. When you do go to a tournament, or you do start doing ready to go practice, you're going to be so accustomed to just catching and then engaging all your power that you go against someone who has equal strength to you and you let them hit, you're going to have a bad day.
Not even equal, just close enough.
Kind of like
hit gets a big advantage.
Yeah, kind of like when Ryan Bowen and Lachlan started doing ready to go practice. Their first couple times,
Lachlan's literally catching every time and missing the catch a lot in the beginning, because Ryan's close enough with strength and good enough with his hit that he's able to get the pin. And now that Lachlan has got the hit figured out, it's like completely opposite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and it's like 25% increase of
power, it seems like.
Yeah.
But it's just because he's changed from holding to hitting. And a lot of that was just because of, again, the pattern of pulling for him was always to be the strong guy, so he's always in the holding kind of, grinding position.
So it's so important to get your club set up where you have a lot of guys of similar strength. Obviously, it's not always possible, but you want to do your best.
And if you can't get it where you are, you need to travel and look for people all the time. Like for the most part, I'm commonly the strongest guy on the table for our practices, but then we bring it, like when Dustin got here, that really helped me out a lot. And then same thing, we go and travel to pull with people, like when we went and pull with Mike Gould, or when we go pull with Yannick and them, we try to find guys that are stronger so that I know. And even then I'll think about like, okay, this guy's got a really strong arm, or that guy's got a really good hand. So you also vary what kind of practice you get with all that too, because even that's another one, like just having the biggest hand in practice, you always dominate the hand game, so you never know what it feels like to have your hand compromised at all. So for me, like in the beginning with the guys I practiced with at Fortis, that was my situation. As soon as I went against other heavyweights and super heavyweights that had big hands, I felt like I had this tiny little baby hand, because they're actually like, maybe their hand isn't even bigger than mine, it's just the same size or just almost as big, but it's so much bigger than the hands I'm used to that it feels like, what the fuck, you know? And so variety, right? Everybody is different. It's like we say, everybody's a different lift, you know?
Variety is so important in arm wrestling. You gain so much from just pulling different people.
Different styles. Even just that, the practice styles, like pulling with London, that really changed the way we approached how we should do practice. And the first time we were kind of like maybe turned off by it a little bit, like, I don't know if we like this, but then we realized the benefit of it pretty quickly, and now it's like, no, that's definitely got to be a part of practice, you know?
And we don't have to, you don't have to completely get rid of what we had previously done before, mostly slow pulling.
Well, even they say that's pretty much what they do after. They don't really. In London, they pretty much hit all day, but they stop, like, maybe reffing and ready going after a little bit. But no, for the most part, like, you can mix it up, and that's, again, training methodology that makes sense. Like, get a real intense stimulus in the beginning, and then get some good volume in with really good technique.
Work on your weaknesses.
Work on
exactly.
Positioning. And then polish it off with maybe some high rep, like just something for blood flow or a pump or whatever at the end. Like, you can organize your table time based on the same stuff, you know? Anyway,
that was a good video.
I think that's not bad. We're gonna end it there. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to hear about next.
Let us know how you practice in your table time.
That's a good one. Give us some advice on what you guys think is the best way to use your table time when you get it in.
Do you do hitting in practice?
Do you slow pull? Do you use the strap? Do you not use the strap? All those different things. Do you wear masks? Do you not? It's COVID. Do you even practice? All that kind of stuff. We want to know where you guys are at. And
like and subscribe.
Comment, feedback, share, all those things.
Monkeys out.
Peace.
Keep the clamping pressure in. Clamp. Don't squeeze. Clamp. There you go. And
okay, that's why this one here, this thing is so good. Like so, hold it here like this. Woo!